Welcome to Stories with a Twang. I'm Nathan. Today's episode is called Are White Bumps on a Cat Normal? By Skittish Reflections. Sorry if this is a stupid question, but I don't know much about cats and I tried Google, but nothing really matched what Gremlin has. I work part-time at my dad's garage while I study, and there's this stray black cat that always lurks around outside. We don't know if it's male or female, but it has long, rough fur and looks like it's had a pretty tough life. Its ears are torn, its hind legs are at a weird angle, and its tail is crooked. The other employees shoo it away when they see it, but I don't. On my lunch breaks, I always throw it a little bit of food. At first, it wouldn't eat, but it soon began to trust me, and that made me happy. I named it Gremlin, and soon it learned to come to me when I called it. It took longer for it to let me pet it, but today it finally did. And that's when I noticed the white bumps. First, I jerked my hand away because I thought they were bugs or something. But Gremlin didn't seem to be in pain, sick, or itchy, so I put my gloves on and parted the fur on its back for a closer look. I'm not sure how to describe them. They're the size of an average pimple, but they're white, almost pearly. At first I got grossed out because I thought they were parasite eggs or something, but then I checked all of Gremlin and these bumps cover its skin completely beneath the fur, like top to bottom, nose to tail. When I poked one, it felt hard and I could see a small black dot on the top, almost like a pore. I wanted to check Gremlin's mouth, ears, and paws too, but Nash walked out for a cigarette break and kicked at Gremlin, making it run away. Out of everyone who works for my dad, I like Nash the least. He's always belittling me, teasing me, and making barely veiled sexist remarks. I complain to my dad all the time, but he keeps telling me I have to learn to stand up for myself. So when Nash kicked at Gremlin, I exploded at him, but he just laughed like the ass he is and told me a garage was no place for a Disney princess, but he wouldn't mind if I wanted to play with his snake. Furious and disgusted, I slapped him so hard his cigarette went flying out of his mouth. I'd never done anything like that before and I was shaking as I ran to my dad. Thankfully, he finally came to his senses and fired Nash. I didn't see Gremlin the rest of the day though. I really hope Nash didn't scare it away for good because I'm worried about those bumps. Will I need to take it to the vet? I'd appreciate some advice. I'm also going to stay late at the garage in case Gremlin returns so I can take photos of the bumps. I just want to make sure it's okay. Edit. Guys, I'm scared and I don't know what to do. I'm in my car outside the garage. I was vibing to music and waiting for Gremlin to show up, and I saw Nash's car park a distance away. He walked over and my heart fell to my feet when I saw him pull up his hood and mask and put on gloves. I'm beyond grateful it was dark enough for him to not notice my car, and I held my breath as I watched him break into the garage. We have security cameras but no alarm, so I called the police immediately. They said they'd be here within 10 minutes and told me to drive somewhere safe. I was ready to do that because I could hear Nash breaking things inside and I didn't want to imagine what he'd do to me for getting him fired. But just before I could turn the key, I saw Gremlin run inside the garage. Guys, I'm scared. If Nash sees Gremlin, there's no doubt he'll hurt it or even kill it. I'm half thinking I go in and tell him I called the cops. Maybe that'll scare him enough to run. Or maybe I can honk the horn, distract him. Oh God, I don't know what to do. Edit. This evening has been... I don't know how to describe it. I'm still shaking. I'm in an ambulance now. They're telling me to put the phone down and rest, but I need answers. It might have been a stupid idea, but I did honk the horn. I don't know what I was expecting other than Nash barging out with his crowbar held up. I should have started the car and drove off, had him follow me. Instead, I yelled through my closed window that I knew it was him and I called the cops. My voice was shaking like crazy and I don't think he even heard me properly because instead of running away, he stomped over and swung his crowbar right at my window. The grass cracked and I screamed and jerked away, my panicked hands searching for the key. I screamed again when Nash jumped on the hood and shattered my windshield, and I dropped my phone as I tried to shield my face from the exploding shards. Scrambling away, I squeezed myself into the back seat, my heart hammering as I barely avoided Nash reaching in for me. I turned to the door, ready to whip it open and run out, only to scream even louder at the silhouette charging toward us from the garage. I don't even know how to begin to describe it. It was almost the size of a horse, but moved like a spider with a billion legs. Those legs swished and whipped from every angle, almost like vines, making the creature seem weightless as it zoomed toward us. Nash noticed it too late, and one of his legs shot up and wrapped around his ankles, yanking him off my car. He landed with a sickening crack on the asphalt and made a croaking sound I wish I never ever hear again. Trembling, I peered through the window and my stomach turned as I watched those legs wrap themselves around Nash. He wasn't moving, but he was alive, and the last thing I saw of him was the panic in his eyes before he was completely covered. Vomit burned my throat as I sat there, cowering in the back seat. I didn't know what to do. I was afraid if I made a run for it, it would be faster than me. But if I stayed put, I was an easy target if it noticed me. I lost my chance at a choice when the creature whipped its legs around my car, pulling it towards it. I screamed as I bounced around inside, terrified that this would be the way I died. The more legs that covered the car, the darker it became, and soon I was hyperventilating in pitch darkness. Thanks to Nash, the windshield was broken, and I sobbed as I jerked away from the coarse legs sliding over my body and weaving in my hair. The smell of an extinguished candle filled my car, and a strange drumming seemed to be echoing my rapid heartbeat. I expected each frantic breath to be my last until the sound of sirens broke through my despair. Not a few seconds later, the legs drew back like paint dripping backwards, and the car bounced down, free. I collapsed in the back seat, breathless and shaking. My father and the police found me alone with no trace of the creature or Nash. I tried to tell them what happened, but even I wouldn't have believed myself. I insisted we check the security cameras, but as we walked inside, we noticed that multiple cameras inside and out were broken. I assumed Nash did it, but I was wrong. As we watched the footage, we could see Nash breaking into the garage and smashing things left and right. Then we saw Gremlin slink inside. With all the commotion, I'd almost forgotten about it, and I began to worry that the creature had devoured it too. I jumped when a black line streaked across the screen of one of the indoor cameras, cracking the lens before the feed disappeared. This happened to a few more cameras a distance from Nash, so it couldn't have been him. He didn't even seem to notice, too preoccupied with his destruction. After 4 cameras broke, Nash turned toward the door. That must have been when I leaned on the horn. We watched him stomp outside and begin smashing my car, and I sat up, my pulse racing as I waited for the creature to appear. Instead, all we got were black streaks that broke the feed. I didn't know what to say, neither did anyone else. But everyone agreed that I should go to the hospital to get my injuries checked out and to get help dealing with the trauma. As I was being led to an ambulance, I noticed a shadow on the roof of the garage, and my eyes went wide with relief at the sight of Gremlin. It perched on the corner, its eyes reflecting the red and blue lights around us, and my jaw fell open when it swished its tail, or tails, many vine-like tails. I blinked, and it was just a regular tail, one singular, fluffy, crooked tail. My heart thudded. Maybe I imagined it. It's possible after everything that just happened. But is it possible I didn't imagine it? I know it sounds crazy. I feel crazy. I just want answers. Alright everyone, so that's it for this week's story. I would like to give a giant thank you to this week's author, Skittish Reflections, for letting me read the story on the show. If you enjoyed this week's story, you can find Skittish Reflections on Reddit at Skittish Reflections, or you can go to their website at imshayle.com. I'll of course link both in the description. If you have any stories you would like me to read on the show, you can send them over to storieswithatwang@gmail.com. The show is on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Stories with a Twang Podcast. It would mean an awful lot if you could rate and review the show wherever you listen, and don't forget to share with your friends and family as well. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and until next time, remember that a little twang goes a long way.